a true David and Goliath moment in my life. Many of you know I have 40 acres and 3 houses in Hyde Park, New York. Had it for 22 years. I have been trying to sell it for 6 years. The issue is no real estate agent, about 7 of them, knew how to sell a property that is over 120 years old. Does the property need a little work? It does need a little work. However, I took the 1900 circa farmhouse and created a beautiful French-themed inn called the Petit Chateau. It is a stunning piece of property. It has a beautiful 2-acre pond. That's the backstory. After 6 years of trying to sell this property with real estate agents who were clueless because they just want a raised ranch, a friend told me about an auction house located in Pennsylvania. I talked to the gentleman for a year before I decided to do my property at an auction. I was concerned that having an auction would project the property and myself as being desperate to be sold. I did this because I wanted a bidding war. The property is worth over $1 million, easily. Now, I also have a little bit of debt against it because I've done so much renovation. Well, I have a lot of debt. Let's cut to the chase of the day of the auction. I did not know when I was first talking to the auction house in Pennsylvania that I was going to have to work with the worst, let me repeat that, the worst auction house in Dutchess County. I am not going to blame the auction house in Pennsylvania. Even though I was doing my due diligence, and I actually told Mike, my biggest fear is that developers would sabotage my property. Meaning somehow, because the developers know how to work the system. I've had a developer make an offer on my house, on my property, a few years ago and back out 7 days before the closing. Developers have a horrible reputation, and that was my concern. Mike reassured me there was no way. He also assured me this is one of the most successful auctions he has ever seen because it had 60 to 70 pre-registered people, and then when it came the day of the auction, I think we had 20 some odd people. What happened was, down to the wire, 2 developers were play acting as though they were trying to outbid each other. The top bid was coming in at $600,000. $600,000 toward a property that is valued, and the fair market value is well over $1 million. My David, who saved me from this Goliath moment, the family who lives literally across the street from my property, I have known for 22 years. Mark came over, sat at the inn's dining table with me, and we outbid these abominable developers. My property was sold at $110 August 11th for a fair market value, and we put it to these 2 abominable developers. This auction house, including the one in Pennsylvania, made $25,000 more had we settled at $600,000. Here is the scary part of this whole process for me. Had that property sold at $600,000 to slimy developers, I would have had to file bankruptcy. The debt against that property, it's criminal what that auction house in Dutchess County was trying to do to me, and he knows full well that he would have pushed me into bankruptcy. That is my David and Goliath event, and there is a lesson here. Take control of any situation that you find yourself in. As much as I wanted to trust the process, put that in quotation marks, and trust that people were being honest with me, I had a plan B, and that plan B won. I cried. I cry now. These people across the street are the most amazing human beings. This property will never fall into the hands of developers. My neighbors are going to treat it with all the respect and discernment in whatever they do. They respect the property. They're going to do something rustic with it, but it's going to stay as beautiful and pristine as it has been for over 120 years. Clap your hands. Do a happy dance. Knowing that it's so important to give back to the universe, to situations like this, because I am so grateful, I also work with an organization called Soothe Our Souls. We are in the midst of a fundraiser. For those of you who don't know about Soothe Our Souls, or you just have heard me talk about it, they are a nonprofit, and it's a sailboat that takes people out on Boca Chica Bay once a month. They take them out for free on this serene sailboat excursion. Captain Dan, it's his company. He also owns Dolphin Landings. He is expanding in the aspect of also providing people with mental illness. We have seen this since the pandemic. This is a very strong area of our mental health and physical health. We cannot get past our physical health if our mental capacity is taking a downturn. I have all the information on their fundraiser. We need donations. Money is great. A catamaran. Yes, Dan wants a catamaran because it's easier to get people in a wheelchair access onto a catamaran. There's a great video on the podcast details. Captain Dan and Carrie Kopasek, who is working with him on this, she does wellness programs on the sailboat. They explain why they also need all kinds of donations. Please contact them. The donations need to be in by August 22nd. Let me give a shout out to Edith at 4th and Vine in St. Petersburg. She will be the only wine shop. She's going to donate a wine club gift certificate and a bottle of wine. Those are the kind of things that we love. We love unique experiences for people who are supporting Soothe Our Souls. And this donation from Edith will start at about $100, and that's the kind of donation we need, to be honest, because we got to raise some serious money. In conclusion, I think we all have David and Goliath moments. When you have them, celebrate them, shout out to the universe. I know that's woo-woo for some of you, but I can promise you there is a higher power working in my benefit to have my property sold to the most amazing people in the world. Certainly donate. It's good for the soul. And again, thank you so much, Edith, for your donation of the wine club and a bottle of wine. We can't get the world a better place if we don't have wonderful people like all my listeners. We just can't have a better world if we don't have everybody come together. Did I mention my name's Valerie Hale? Did I mention I produce this podcast every week, Wealth, Yoga, Wine? I do this to help people create a blueprint for the life they deserve. This is a fee-based service. If you would like to delve a little bit into how to start that blueprint process, all my contact information is on my podcast details. Merci, au revoir.